out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got
50s, so we'll take that. Hit us up on the Professional Door text line, 391-0788, McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Always great to hear from everybody. Good morning, TLB. How are you? Thanks to everybody, as always. We're on the cusp of the college football playoff. Are you excited? Everything else that's going on, the situation that we mentioned yesterday seems like it's blown the lid off of a lot of what's happening in college athletics with the Washington quarterback situation, Damon Williams. I think this is going to be the first step to see if there's ever going to be any kind of anything in place that might ultimately make any of this make any sense down the road. So we'll see. We shall see indeed. From the NRV, Big Dog's mic is hot, and we patiently wait here in Palm Coast. We are glued to the podcast. I'm going to hear Rick Watson dominate. Well, I don't know about dominate. BDST is live and online. Yeah, we are. Good morning. David Smith will join us today, the Radford Hall of Famer. Early playoffs are here. And then 7 o'clock, Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline will join us. We'll get an update on all things that he knows Tech football. And then it'll be us for the rest of the program here today, which is fine. Good morning to TLB Morris. Tootie, good to see you. Yeah, just go with it. Yeah, I'm just going to roll with it. Just going to have fun with it. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio, 540-200-8294. Check them out, familyfencingnrv.com. McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room. Thanks to Mark Hundley. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment's the presenting sponsor of BDST. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet. Made a Pulaski reference in the Radford broadcast last night. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Go see Charles Lee today. Don't get caught out in the cold. Wow, that's pretty good. I like that. And Pry is the attorney in Radford, 701 West Main Street, specializing in trust and estate planning. I asked a fairly easy question. We've had about 45 responses, and 42 of them say Oregon, Indiana will be the two teams to advance. We don't make it tricky for you here on the program. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST, my exclusive banking partner for 35 years. And Travis Williams is the best. Professional Door Incorporated, residential, commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business, right up by New River Community College. Ready Set Fund, go to readysetfund.com. Give Bob Christ an email, bobchrist11@gmail.com, CRIST. They can help you raise money for your team, organization, whatever it might be. And they do it via text messages. Thanks to everybody at Harvey's GM, Top Shelf Apparel, Brandon, 4377 Lee Highway, Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, Steve Bufato, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, thanks to them. Give James Lawson a call today, 540-381-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl, they've been in business for 25 years, knocking down pins, 382-5525. Reach out to them and give them a holler. Go have some fun. Good morning, Opal. Hope you're doing well. Hang on, be right back. You know, I get it. If you're in January and you're having kind of this warm little push during the day, you wonder why it's not warm at night. If I were a living species who needed to be out all the time, I'd be a little frustrated too. TLB says, I'll try my best to glean a ball game out of the ESPN circus. Yeah. I think the NCAA wants it this way, unfortunately. I think this is what they want. I mean, I saw more people yesterday revolting than I've seen in a long time on social media, especially on X. The realization of how messed up all this stuff is starting to come into play. Good morning, Joseph. I mean, when it became just blatant pay for play, I mean, and then you had Mark Cuban boasting yesterday. Did you see Mark Cuban, the Indiana grad? I don't know what the number officially was. I saw some people saying he donated $30 million specifically to the NIL at Indiana. And then he made the quip, they're going to be much happier this year than they were last year. So the game itself, I think what we need to separate, I see people making the mistake when they say college football is ruined. The game itself, the quality of the game itself is not. The games on the field are a good product. We talked about that throughout the season. The product is fine, unlike the NFL where the product is just trash. It's not the product of the game. It's everything else, this circus about rosters. There's no kid in the country that's going to college that's worth $6 million. I mean, that's where we've gotten. That's why it's not NIL. This went from common sense. Okay, well, if he's making the school X amount of dollars for whatever because of who he is, or if there's somebody who wants to help support that kid from a business perspective and use his name, image, or likeness, that was the original idea, then that makes more sense, right? This whole thing of now is just, imagine your professional sports league that's constant free agency. Imagine the NFL, 32 teams, and every year it's just free agency for everybody on your roster. That's where we are right now in college athletics. As preposterous as that sounds. But that's what it is. Every year is just now, the way it's set up now is just free agency. From player number 1 on your roster to player number, what is it now, 105, whatever they're going to allow. Imagine if the NFL had to deal with that year in and year out. But yet it's going to continue to be supported. And the NFL yesterday, by the way, this is why they don't care about anybody's complaints about their officiating. This is why they don't care about trying to fix it. This is why they don't care about the fans in general, and why they don't care about anybody who's thinking their games are not legitimate. Ratings in the National Football League are up 14% from last year. They average 18.7 million viewers per game on all streaming and network services. NFL programs ranked as ranked as 89 of the top 100 shows on TV since the start of September, the start of the regular season. 89 of 100. Wow. How about that? The Kansas City-Dallas game on Thanksgiving, 57.3 million people watched that game. Fox had a game against, Green Bay, Detroit, had 47.7 million. Kansas City, by the way, let the conspiracy theories continue. 4 out of the 5 games on this list involve the Chiefs. Philadelphia, Kansas City, 33.8 million. Buffalo, Kansas City, 30.9. Denver, Kansas City on Christmas, 29 million. How about that? They average 18.7 million viewers. So they don't care about you. They don't care about what anybody says. This is why they always remain silent about their officiating and about controversial calls, because they're raking in the money. They're going to be $1 trillion industry soon, and they know now they can raise all their advertising rates across the board. And that's all they care about. College football, ratings are up considerably. The playoff ratings are way up. They're going to cite the same things. The SEC and the Big Ten, the power brokers, they don't care, because fans will not go away. They will not go away. ESPN seems to be systematically weeding out any capable talent. Yeah, I don't know what talent they have. They have some older folks that do a great job, Sean McDonough being one, but yeah, none of their new people. So, yeah, thank you. You had a little blip there in chat. Yeah. Had a little blip there with the camera. I think we're okay now. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, we talk about it a lot, and I don't want to just keep on rinsing and repeating, but the more you think about it, like I'm not enthused at all for the semifinals. And it's not because I don't think that all 4 teams deserve it. They all 4 are there for a reason, right? And any of the 4 could win it. We should be excited. I should be excited. Maybe you are. That's fine. But I'm not. I'm not sitting here saying, boy, can't wait till Friday night to watch that first game. You know, it just, I don't know. But this thing with Damon Wilson, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there with the Washington situation. I think that's going to be the first shoe to fall. And we'll see if it indeed does. But, yeah. ACCPM. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, Wes German, Mark Packer were together. They had their show on there. It was terrific. Wes left several years ago. He had a little issue with some things there, and so he decided he just wanted to do games, and that's what he's doing now. Yeah. Yep. So I don't watch. I'm lucky. I don't even know what that is. I don't watch very much of any extracurricular stuff now that's on TV regarding sports other than the games. I don't think there's any show on TV that's worth my time. There's no talking head show. It's all the same. There's no warm-up show. Correct, Morris. It really has. Like, there's nothing that I watch regularly outside of, the game is on. Let's see what's going on. Click. Even in the NFL, I don't watch any of the pregame show. It's all just gotten so. It's just so annoying to see they do these watch shows. Everybody has to stand up now and act. It's the ESPNing of everything. I think that's why a show like the Sports Reporters, if you remember that, when we actually had real reporters, that felt like just me and you, or me and my friends, you and your friends, just sitting around talking about sports. And I think we relate to that. None of this other stuff that's just so scripted and disingenuous is the best way to do it. Social media has played a large part into it because they want everything that they have on TV, the networks, they want everything to transfer over to their social media accounts. None of it's legitimate. I mean, none of their commentary is legitimate. Exactly. And that's it for me. It's all fake. It's all, every bit of it. It is all fake. But like I said, they're making money right now to support everything that's going on in college football. I don't know when that money runs out. I don't know when's enough. This is when it comes back to the question of how much your fans going to take. Good morning, Rodney. Yeah, it's all about narratives. The brainwashing of people is a lot easier, I think, than they maybe originally thought. I mean, it's amazing how people just can't see things for themselves and will believe whatever they hear, will believe whatever is posted, will believe anything that's written. That's why, like we've been using the example, and I know it's on a smaller scale, but some of the things about Virginia Tech's football staff has been incorrect. Some of the things about recruits across the country, not only at Tech, is incorrect. They're trying to be first. It's just. Joseph says the worst that I've seen is the Thursday night Prime show, NFL pregame show on Prime. Yeah, I can't even begin. There's nobody on that show that I would remotely care about hearing from. Yeah, I just turn the game on. That's what I do. There's nothing there. There's nothing there that's going to enlighten you. And it used not to be that way. And I know this is going to sound like get off your lawn and all this stuff. But the old NFL Today, back in the day, if you remember that, so good. Because they really seem to care about the product, right? Because they really seem to care about the product. You had guys like Brent Musburger, Jimmy the Greek. Irv Cross was outstanding. I don't know if anybody remembers Irv Cross. He was a terrific player in the 60s. Played for the Eagles. He was a great reporter, man. Irv Cross was underrated. And Phyllis George, and then they added Jane Kennedy. Wow, Jane Kennedy. Woo. I mean, Phyllis George, outstanding. Jane Kennedy, mega outstanding. And, and I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, and I'm sounding very old right now, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we didn't talk about it. I'm sorry, everybody on the text line. I'm sorry, on the professional door text line. John Harbaugh fired after 18 years. It was probably long enough for him. He will be a coach next year. I think obviously the two most what Cleveland and Baltimore did, and basically they're the same franchise since Baltimore spawned from the Browns. The two worst firings by far of the cycle. Kevin Stefanski and Harbaugh are both going to be eagerly gobbled up. Brown's situation is just a disaster. Coverage is so bad, Moore says. These announcers. Correct. It is bad. They force people on there for agendas that don't deserve to be talking about that sport. Have no idea about it. Breeder says, I watched Police Academy last night. I didn't realize how bad it was. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. Police Academy is a pretty bad movie. But yeah, you sit there and, you watch it. Yeah, the Raiders could get Harbaugh, man. I'm telling you that if you need a coach now, it looks pretty good at the top part of this. It does. I mean, Harbaugh can go somewhere else and revitalize it, get another quarterback. Either one of those guys would be an improvement for the Raiders. We'll talk a little bit about that with David Smith. My Broncos defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph's a hot candidate. We'll see. He was a miserable head coach. Some guys are just better coordinators. Steve Spagnuolo at Kansas City actually said that, which I thought was it's nice to see self-awareness. He goes, I wasn't a very good head coach. I'm a better coordinator. And he stayed in Kansas City as their defensive coordinator. I hope if Vance gets another shot, I hope he's good, but he's going to have to be a lot better. He was not organized at all first time around. Oh, yeah, Joseph. Yeah, the Inside the NFL on HBO. Lynn Dawson, Nick Bonicani. Absolutely, man. So good. So good. Because it was all about the games, highlights of the game. Bonicani was terrific. He was a great player for the Dolphins. Patriots before that. Yeah, it was all about football. Yeah, that was a great show, man. Great show. Yeah. The Browns, by the way, I'm sorry, Wayne, that you might be the worst franchise in the NFL right now. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland, but whatever it is, it's not going to work. Fish rots from the head, man. Dad was always right. Bad ownership. Right now, I guess it's been a while. You're right. We got to talk some hoops. We'll probably do that in the second part of the show. Radford, big second half last night, puts away Presbyterian, and Virginia Tech blows a 13-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go. Can't chalk that one up to injuries. You can't chalk that one up to anything, but that's just an absolute miserable collapse at home. And we'll get into that a little bit. We're getting ready to talk some football with David Smith, and then we're going to talk to Andy about Tech football, but we'll have to get into that. That's a really bad loss for Mike Young last night. A really, really, really bad loss. Matter of fact, I didn't know they had lost. I'm sitting there doing the game. We got off the post-game show. And I think the last score I'd seen, they were up by double digits under 5 minutes. So you're like, all right, well, they did what they needed to do. And then I get in the car and the game is on the Bear, and I'm hearing the post game, and I'm hearing Zach, and his voice doesn't sound very enlightened. And I'm like, and then he went through the whole thing. I'm like, wow, they lost that game. Apparently some kid hit like a long three toward the end of the game. Yeah, now Stanford's beating Louisville and Virginia Tech. Tech's going to have to buckle up against Cal. I think they'll beat them. Cal got blown out by Virginia last night, but that's a bad loss. Lawal was back, played about 18 minutes, and I figured, we talked about that. You can't throw him back full time. He's going to have to kind of ease his way back in. But that's a big time collapse. When you lose a 13-point lead with 3.5 minutes, that's one that you're going to have to go back and I don't know if you even watched the film. Okay, let's just move on to the next one. See what happens. But we'll talk more about that. But those are the kind of games you can't lose. I'm right about this week in the Patriot about conference play. It's exciting. Road wins are like gold bricks. Mike Jones patented that. I always think about him. Stanford's got a big gold brick going back to or going down to Charlottesville, I guess, next. The conference play is so difficult for road teams in particular. And this is when you start separating the teams who are actually contenders for the NCAA tournament, right? What you do now in conference play. Because basketball is the biggest of marathons. It's not a sprint. And I know that big wins are important in November and December to the committee when they're making their choices. And, this is something I don't mean to bring in more bad news, but probably next year they're going to mess with the NCAA tournament that we love so much, that is the most perfect sporting event in this country. And we're going to go from 68 to I don't know how many they're going to add. It'll be in the 70s or more next year. So all of a sudden, early games, incentive games aren't going to matter nearly as much. So it's going to water down the regular season because you're going to have this thing continue to expand. And it's all because of money. So that may be the last thing that we have that we hold near and dear as sports fans that's going to be destroyed by greed. And that is the bottom line. The Bible was right all along about money. Imagine that. Joining us on the program is that gentleman. We've had to kind of shift his schedule around.
Yep.
David Smith, the Radford Hall of Famer. What's up, brother? Good morning.
6:30 shift. You got me on the early morning. You got me. Listen, I'm going back to my previous Altria days when I had a job. I had to go in at 5 a.m. Had to get up at 3:30. So, but for you, it is well worth it.
Oh, well, you're too kind.
No, I appreciate the platform. And thank you for your flexibility and for those of you that are wondering what I'm doing out here. I'm just trying to get on air with Rick Watson.
Well, you're a busy guy, man. You got your business life, and now you got a grandchild you got to help out. I mean, come on, I get it, man.
Hey, we're doing a lot, but we are doing this all a labor of love, but still love to do this, and so we're going to make it fit. And so thank you guys for your patience. Hopefully we can give you some stuff to talk about today and think about, because there's been a lot going on in a lot of sports. But again, let me remind folks, the NFL's way of setting up the playoffs is the most sensible way on the planet.
It is.
I mean, because it should be this very way. It's not about, this isn't gymnastics. I love gymnastics, but it's not about what you think you see. No, it's pretty simple. Win enough games, win your division you're in.
You're in.
And you already knew what the tiebreakers were in the whole bit.
No committees.
No, don't need them, Rick. We'll save those committees for like off-season stuff when you're trying to fix whether holding is really holding and pass interference is pass interference.
You're right.
Stuff, and that's another argument for another day, right?
I know it is. Well, what do you think about the firings? I mean, I think, and people probably don't believe us, but David and I were texting maybe a day ahead of that, and I remember we were like, 18 years, that's a long time. I wonder what might happen there. And then sure enough, it happened the next day.
Yeah.
It sounded like, and I know he got fired, but didn't it sound like he knew he needed to leave too a little bit? It just felt like, at least what's been released so far. Well, I guess we'll know more when he comes forward, when he gets hired, and he'll be hired probably first on this,
Yeah.
cycle.
Rick, it never felt right all year. There was just things, and I don't know why. Lamar practice, not practicing every day. And from what I gather, in the NFL, and Justin, I'm not at an NFL practice. All we know is what we read and hear. And so it appears that in the NFL, there are practices. Practices in the NFL are pretty ramped up and pretty important for game prep. And it appears as though, for a number of reasons, Lamar, who's been injured a lot this year, and I'm going to give him grace on injuries, because the one thing I'm not going to do is question anybody who says they hurt. I just don't know that. And so his inability to have a full practice most of the year kind of mirrors what the reports coming out were. Why they came out, I don't know at that time, around potentially sleeping in meetings and they're moving practices into the afternoon because he plays games all night. And he came back and totally disputed that. The fact that got out by a credible reporter in Baltimore tells you that whether it was that or not, that there was an effort to kind of want to say, it's him, it's not me. It's just for a team that had been together that long. And for what was weird about it is John Harbaugh, you cannot find a clip where he doesn't support Lamar Jackson. In fact, for those of us that remember him getting drafted at the end of the first round or beginning of the second, I forget which it was, they totally revamped their entire offense. They had Joe Flacco, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, whether you love him or not. They had him in the stable, running the program in the franchise, and then they decided to totally shift to Lamar Jackson and change everything. The NFL had not really totally committed to that type of offense. Even with Michael Vick was still a traditional quarterback doing untraditional things. But it wasn't like, okay, we're going to zone read all the time. We're going to have him run all the time. And I remember, Rick, a lot of people, it's not sustainable. He's slight of build. He'll get crushed in this league. And then I'm watching the game on Sunday and the pregame shows. And what is everybody saying? Boy, Lamar sure needs to run. He needs to use his legs. So they totally changed, and he changed the entire narrative. Two MVPs later, not Super Bowl, 2 MVPs later, one unanimous. You don't know how this could have ended when his biggest supporter was John Harbaugh, who constantly defended him. We love our guy. And so where it went amiss, I do not know. But it appears as though they're putting it on the owner right now. There's more we're going to need to know. But it appears as though John Harbaugh was at a place to say, it is probably time. You guys go ahead and do what you're doing. I'm fine with where I am. I think he's got like 190 wins, 18 years, Super Bowl championship. And Rick, I will die on this hill. Kicker, make a kick, please. Mark Andrews, hold on to the ball, please. Zay Flowers, don't extend the ball across the goal line. Hey, Tyler Huntley in the Cincinnati playoff game when they're about to go in and he tries to reach over the goal line, gets the ball popped out. Cincinnati takes it 100 the other way when Lamar was hurt for the playoffs. You can go through the list of Baltimore uh-ohs, and I don't call those coaching. I call those play execution. And then where are we now if they get to a Super Bowl, if they get a chance to win a second one? But I also think this, Rick, if the Steelers lose that game, we might be having a Mike Tomlin conversation.
We would be. I think we
versus
would be.
a Jim Harbaugh conversation. I believe that.
So the last shot we saw was him with his arm around Tyler Loop, the kid, the rookie kicker who missed that kick, trying to console him. And I thought, well, there you go. There's a guy who gets it. And he probably knew at that point what was going to happen to him too in several days. But you're right. I think if that kick's good, Mike Tomlin kind of already alluded to it before that. He was like, I don't know. Somebody asked him the question, and it was that kick controlled maybe the fate going forward of both of those guys. It's great. And then Cleveland, to scapegoat Kevin Stefanski in such a poorly run organization, that guy's going to be gobbled up immediately. Two teams are going to be very lucky, David, two of these teams that need coaches.
Well, and you add Kevin Stefanski, who everyone sensed was coming, and you just get a feeling that he was given marching orders to go out in front of everyone every week and talk about why he should not play Shedeur Sanders, why he should go with this. The quarterback room, he started with 5 guys. And by the time the season gets a third gone, Joe Flacco's gone to Cincinnati. You've got Deshaun Watson, the albatross that's sitting in this wherever he is with all this money coming against you. You try Dylan Gabriel. That didn't work. You put Shedeur in, who hadn't prepped at all as your number 5 quarterback. And he's got to finish the race for you. That I'm sure he's probably saying, thank you for the opportunity. I should have kept my Baker Mayfield when I had him. It's the only thing we've been able to do. He's a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, weirdly enough, and he's without a job. Absolutely. He's saying to himself, and fortunately for him, he took the high road on a lot of it. I'm out of here.
He did.
I'm out of here. I'm going to go find me another landing place. I gave it my best shot, and so on you go. And then, Rick, there's the Raheem Morris of it all, who before we could get to the Sunday night game had lost his job. All he did in Atlanta the last month or so was win every game. And you started to see the signs of what was happening with Atlanta. I don't know that they really felt like he could take them to the next step. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. All I know is at the end of the season, nobody really wanted to play Atlanta either. They were 8-9. They have got absolute pieces. They play on turf, and they've got a fast team. They've got to figure out whether it's Kirk Cousins or whether Michael Penix is going to be back. But Bijan Robinson, I don't know how much you watched of him. Of course, we knew he was great coming in out of Texas. He is a dude. They have got pieces. They looked at the end of the year like the Atlanta team that I forecast to win that division. Look at me. But, Rick, I wasn't totally wrong. They ended up tying for the division championship at 8-9. Unfortunately, their win against the Saints knocked out Tampa, who wins on a Saturday game against Carolina in the rain. Unfortunately, they needed the Saints to win, and the Falcons won, which put the Carolina Panthers in at 8-9. And just like 2015, the Carolina Panthers are your NFC South champs with a losing record. They were 7-8-1 in 2015, and there they are today at 8-9 in the playoffs, hosting a game on Saturday.
Well, with Atlanta, it was an organizational fail. The GM needed to be let go 3 weeks ago. I mean, that whole thing of drafting Michael Penix when you had
disaster.
The big contract never made sense, right? It was just a wasted. You created a rift in the most important room of any football team immediately, and then Cousins, he comes in and he shows you. That's why I think they went on that streak. He solidified it, and you can see all these guys were different with him in the huddle. It was an organizational fail from top to bottom.
Well, it was, Rick, and then why you put that at the feet of the coach, though, is the problem with it. Is you give, this is a league where it's not college football. Your GM is acquiring talent and saying, go get them, Tiger. Now, you hope that they're aligned in this, but I'm sure Raheem Morris would have loved to have had those picks to say, you know what, I might can solidify X, Y, or Z so we could take this thing to the stratosphere. The fact that they had a top 10 pick and you'd already signed Kirk Cousins, they were sitting in the catbird seat to be able to build on that momentum and really be good. And you can see what they can be with Kirk Cousins. I get a feeling they're going to slow walk Michael Penix back from his ACL. They're not going to rush him back. Hey, Kirk Cousins, let's redo this deal. Let's set in here. Let's see if we can get 2 more years out of you while Michael Penix gets himself together, and they can have some longevity with this thing. Now you're stuck with it, so you might as well make the best of it. And meanwhile, you could tell with that 4-game winning streak that they're going to be and Rick, that division, 9 wins might get it for you.
No, it doesn't take a lot, right? It doesn't take a lot.
9 might get it for you. Now, again, in the NFL, these rotating divisional schedules. So some years you get some things and some years you don't. You think about the NFC North, where everybody in that division had a winning record. And then there's the NFC South, where everybody had a losing record. So every year, depending on who you play, who's your cross-conference rival in the scheduling, can dictate things. But at the end of the day, they're going to be 17 NFL games. You got to win more of them than others.
Well, it's playoff time this weekend.
AFC
and NFC. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. I think some of the teams that have a real shot to win the Super Bowl are playing on this first weekend, right? I mean,
it really is.
You just look at it with open eyes with how things finished up. So
it really is, Rick. And you and I talked about earlier in the season how much we like Tampa Bay, and we thought they'd win that division. And fortunately, Todd Bowles is securing another year there. But unfortunately, winning that game against Carolina did not prove to be enough to win. So as a result, Carolina ends up with a 16-14 loss. They end up in the wild card game. That's going to start on Saturday afternoon. The team that a lot of folks feel like has the most complete roster, whether they can get it all together or not, and stay healthy, is the LA Rams. The LA Rams will be playing Carolina at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon. Shout out Carolina. It doesn't look like the weather's going to be great on this side of the state. Poor Carolina. You get 2 Saturdays to play. Last week, you go to Tampa and it rains 80% of that game and pretty hard for most of it. And unless the weather is different in Charlotte than it's going to be in Radford and Roanoke and Richmond, it's going to be kind of wet most of Saturday too. But you know what? You're in the dance, so put on rain gear and go out there and get them, which actually made, Rick, in some ways, help neutralize the Rams' incredible speed and strength. So maybe Carolina likes it a little wonky. They will be playing the 4:30 game. And shout out to Carolina for getting back in there. You know, Rick, we don't make apologies on this program for people who make the playoffs in the NFL because you get 17 games in 18 weeks to get it right. You got to have depth. You got to have luck. But mostly you got to have players. And so they've won enough to get there. They're going to have an uphill climb against the Rams. So, and then the NFC takes on Saturday night as well. The Green Bay Packers, who were locked into the 7th seed as well. They were already locked in. So they didn't play a lot of their guys. In fact, they didn't even play Malik Willis on Saturday. They felt as though they needed to be just relaxed. They weren't going to advance to any other seeding anyway. They're going to play the Bears, who got the 2 seed by losing 2 straight games at the end of the season because the Eagles also rested their people. But the Eagles have done this forever. Philly has done this forever. In fact, they did it last season when Saquon was going after the record, or could have, and they decided, you know what, the rushing record, we're going to just not have that happen. And then they fished for bigger fish and got the big prize at the end. And so the Bears end up with the 2 seed. They're hosting Green Bay. And you know, Rick, you and I often talk about this. Boy, the one thing you don't want to see, but you often do see, is a division opponent, a doggone division opponent.
Especially
in the
that
playoffs.
One.
Oh, my God.
I love the fact that's the oldest rivalry, maybe the most intense rivalry in a playoff game. That's pretty cool. There
you go. Well, it's so funny, Rick, that you mentioned that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, your host is a historian in this stuff. The longest, I had that nugget for you this morning. Since 1921, over 200 games, the Green Bay-Chicago rivalry.
Cool.
It's going to be great, and it's going to be on Saturday night. And so once upon a time, these were the games that didn't mean as much. I grew up through an era where they both weren't very, very good. And then all of a sudden the Super Bowl shuffle comes through because you think about Minnesota was the bell of the ball of this division.
Yeah. Bud Grant, man, it was Minnesota.
Oh, it was with Chuck Foreman. And I can go back to Joe Kapp. And then you talk about Fran Tarkenton. They were the Buffalo Bills before the Bills. They just could not win the big game. Shout out Miami Dolphins for taking care of them a couple times. Shout out Pittsburgh Steelers. But they were solid Hall of Famers, Carl Eller and Alan Page and all those boys, Mick Tinglehoff. So the Vikings have a historic hold on this division, but that was then. Of course, they had to run in the 90s with Denny Green, and we all remember Minnesota not making the kick against Atlanta to go up 10, and then the Falcons come down and win, and Dirty Birds knock off Chris Carter and Randy Moss's Vikings. But as it stands, the NFC North, the black and blue division, Green Bay and Chicago going in, and I'm a little worried about Chicago. They've lost 2 games. They played all their guys against Detroit, Rick, in a division game that meant nothing for Detroit other than Dan Campbell was going to make sure his guys played hard. They ended the season with the win. Chicago's got to feel like to themselves, okay, are we where we need to be? They got to kind of get their minds right. Hadn't been there in a while. Chicago's going to host Green Bay, 8 o'clock on Prime on Saturday night. And then the other NFC game, which will take place, will be Sunday afternoon. I tell you what.
Oh, the Sunday slate now. That Sunday slate is serious.
Rick, it's go to church, get all that done, whatever's got to get done. Because there is no staggering games. They don't overlap at all. Woo. So you're going to get them in succession. That San Francisco at Philly game, there's a Niners who had to deal with an incredibly difficult defense in Seattle. And both of the 1 seeds, both the Broncos and the Seahawks, are led by their incredible defense. As they always say, defense wins championships. Seattle and Denver are relaxing this weekend on the strength of fantastic defenses. And San Francisco found out about Seattle's last weekend. They lost 13-3 and had chances to play better in that game. But Kyle Shanahan, I'm more of a fan of him than you. He has done an incredible job this year with all those guys on the sidelines, all those guys banged up, and they had a chance to win the division. And Seattle had other thoughts. Seattle goes into San Francisco and wins that game. They now go play a rested Eagles team, 4:30 on Saturday afternoon in the Link. And you don't think those Philly fans are going to be jacked up?
They're
going to be lubed up, bro. Listen.
Full throat, baby.
They're going to be pumped. And so what a fantastic game that's going to be, though, Rick. And it's exciting to be able to see all these teams, all the stuff lines up, 272 games, and now we're down to 6 this weekend, and we'll have another slate of games next weekend to see who can advance this thing, while the 1 seeds, the Broncos, your Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks are able to relax on the sideline as we finish up talking about the NFC.
Well, the Bills-Jags game really intrigues me a lot because I think Jacksonville, we've seen the arrival. And the thing about we talked about for the season, when is Trevor Lawrence going to start being – that guy? Well, it's hit. It's taken him a little longer. He's had very unstable coaching.
Yep.
And for some reason, this guy that he battled with immediately, right, Cohen, now they're just linked, and it has clicked. And you can see that's his team, and he's taken the next step. And Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, that could be a championship game. Here we are in the first round of the AFC playoffs. It's crazy.
And here's what's interesting about that. We all kind of thought this was going to happen. It's just taken a little while to get here. I don't know that we saw Josh Allen coming out of college and thought he'd be this, because John Elway would have taken him. Shout out Broncos once again.
Did you see that, by the way? You know, the Elway documentary that's
on
Netflix, and he was doing interviews about it. He said, I had Josh Allen on my card, but all the coaches weren't sold on him.
Oh,
and so he wanted to trust his coaches, and he didn't. So they went with Bradley Chubb. It was interesting to hear him talk about that. But anyway.
Oh, wow. Well, and when you think about it, he was playing in Wyoming. He's a West Coast guy. Had played in bad weather. And I think Denver gets a knock about his bad weather. I mean, it just gets bad everywhere. But the fact that he plays in bad weather, it's just another feather in the cap to take him. He throw the ball through a tornado, and he can knock a tornado out. He's 6'5". He's a monster.
I know. And he wanted to be a Bronco. He wanted
to be a Bronco. Well, and so listen, you know what? Now he's Buffalo's. And so now, as you mentioned, we have ourselves a game here. But to your point, everybody kind of expected Trevor Lawrence to ascend to this. It's taken him a while to get there. But now he's here, and now we got him against Josh Allen. And maybe this is the beginning of a newness in the AFC, because Jacksonville's got some pieces. They're young. Their coach is young. Their quarterback is young, and it's a hungry place to play football. And so they're going to be in the 1:00 game on Sunday. And I'll tell you what, their defense is pretty good. I think if you're Buffalo right now, and this is a road game for them, normally they don't play a road game in the playoffs.
No.
Wild card weekend. They always win that division. Yeah. Well, they've won the division forever. And so they didn't, New England had it for a while, but during the Josh Allen run, it's been pretty much Buffalo, I think, since 2019, or if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere thereabouts, because Brady left during the COVID year to go to Tampa. So it's been Buffalo's. I think Miami may have gotten one out of it, but they're on the road at Jacksonville on Sunday afternoon. That's going to be a very, very good game. Sunday night is a 7-2 matchup. Shout out to New England Patriots, but you and I called it when they hired Mike Vrabel. We knew they were. We didn't. I don't know if we knew they were going to win the division, but we knew they were going to be in the playoffs, and we knew they'd be markedly better. I don't know if we saw 2 seed in the mix, but they're going to host an 8:00 game on Sunday night against the Chargers. Now, the Chargers also didn't care about seeding. John Harbaugh, let me get it right. That's Jim Harbaugh. We'll get him right here in a minute. Decided there's
a lot of them.
A lot of Harbaughs. And the dad coach too, by the way. Was going to rest his guys, and he did. And you got Herbert with the left hand broken that he's been playing with all year. They're kind of a scary team too. Again, these playoffs every year, we think that we know something about them, but almost all the time, not all the home teams win. So you fight for this home, you fight to win the division. There is a market advantage to it, even if it's mental. But most years, not all the home teams win. This one kind of scares me a little bit. New England's got Drake May playing well. The Chargers have a solidified defense. They can run the ball. Their line is a bit beat up. That concerns me a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, the Monday night game, D'Amico Ryans has those bad boys from Houston that are hunting on the defensive side. Talk about defenses, Rick. It seems like we've been talking a lot about defense this morning with these teams that are in the playoff. We talked about your Broncos. We talked about the Seahawks. We haven't talked about the Houston Texans, who are just obliterating people on the defensive side of the ball. They're going up against Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. So congratulations to Pittsburgh for winning the division. You get in the playoffs. You get a Monday night game. Sadly, you get a group that's going to come and eat, and Aaron Rodgers is not real thrilled about pressure these days. Not at all. In fact, his QBR versus pressure is one of the worst in the league. I would understand it. I'm 42 years old. I'm not trying to get hit either. I'm trying to get rid of the football. So Houston preparing, is going to prepare to light him up. It's going to be a real interesting dynamic there. But Mike Tomlin, once again, all he does is win. He's 10-7, Rick, this season. 10-7 with an aging quarterback. His best wide receivers out for the last 2 games. His best defensive player, TJ Watt, gets his lung punctured doing a needle treatment. He was out for a period of games. They don't have a running back. They've got Gainwell, a running game, and Warren, and they're trying to piece it together, and they lose their tight end, Darnell Washington, to a broken arm, and they have to play the Ravens. Their kicker misses a kick, and they still find a way to win 10 football games. And again, okay, you don't love these guys. You feel like you need more Super Bowls, but 10-7 most years, I would take it. And so there's the Steelers once again being a nemesis to all the Baltimore fans out there with the shank kicks at the end of the game. But they will be closing out NFL playoff weekend Monday night with the 8:15 game against the Texans.
How did you finish up ranking the top 4 heading into the playoffs?
I stayed, Rick, where we were. It was very difficult to take Seattle off of the 1 spot, Denver off of the 2 spot. With that dismantling that they had, you almost have to keep Seattle at 1. I kept Denver at 2 because, again, we applaud winning in this particular poll that we do here, and they got the buys, and so they've earned it. So it kind of ran part and parcel. I had New England at number 3. New England did a fantastic job this year. What an incredible turnaround that they had this year, Rick. You got to give them a lot of credit for the way they were able to totally take most of that same roster, add in a couple of picks, give Drake May some confidence, and boom, you've got a formula now that the AFC East, Drake May and Josh Allen will be going banging heads for a number of years in that. And then I snuck Jacksonville in at number 4, Rick. Congratulations to the Jaguars. Duval. Duval. So Cohen has done a fantastic job there. They got a lot of great energy. It's a hungry football team right now. I'm not so sure many people want to play them. And all of a sudden, you think about it, Rick, if Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt, you're talking about the Colts and the Jaguars and the Texans, all in the mix probably for the playoff, because the Colts at one point was 8-2. They were 8-2. And so all of a sudden that division is getting a little bit more respect. And once the Titans figure out a new coach, I'd like to see them kind of get back in the mix too. But those are the 4 that I picked.
All right. Now it's time to pick the weekend. You ready to go?
Yeah, brother. Let's get it. Here's the funny thing, Rick. Our last week of picks, you were 2-3.
Uh-oh.
I was 0-5.
Uh-oh.
We are tied. We are locked.
We're tied?
60 games in. We're at 30 up and 30 down, bro. So I don't know if that makes us great, but it makes us the same. We talked about we're the same anyway, right?
We're clearly, we were separated at some point in our pre-existence of life.
I'm sure there are folks watching right now that don't know which one is me and which one is you.
No,
other than the byline.
No idea.
That's why we have these captions right in here, so folks will know who's the difference, right? So, all right, brother, we're gonna go through all the games, and so we'll see how we go. So as we said, we'll start with Saturday. Rams at Panthers. Rams coming off of a win against the Cardinals, and Panthers off of a loss, but they're the division champs. They'll be hosting the 4:30 game on Saturday.
This should be the easy one. I'll go Rams. They're the 10.5-point favorites. I think they should cruise in there and take care of business.
They should handle their business.
Right.
But again, Rick, they should. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Panthers beat them this year, if I'm not mistaken. So if no other reason, that should give the Rams incentives to not be caught sleeping. Packers at Bears, the Saturday night game, oldest rivalry in the sport, not at Lambeau Field, but in Soldier Field.
Throw
Packers
it all
at
out.
Bears.
Yeah, this game, man, it's hard because it's just you throw it all out whenever they play. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. There's never really a home field advantage. Man, I don't know. Who do you trust more, Williams or Love in the postseason? Packers are kind of on a free fall. I kind of feel like the Bears are going to win at home. I just kind of feel like they've got enough momentum, and that way their defense is playing, it feels like they're going to – I just don't trust Green Bay right now.
I would probably – whoever was the home team in this one, I would take. And the fact that the Bears are home, because I don't trust either of them right now because they're both a little wobbly, I'm going to take – I also took the Bears in this one. Yeah. So Bears for us both. Bills at Jags. This game is an absolute wild card right here. We talked about it moments ago. Josh Allen going on the road to play a Jacksonville team. For one of the first times, Josh Allen won't have to wear cold gear for his first playoff game in a long time. So I don't know if that frees him up or not, but who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with the Golden Locks. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence, man. I think they've got a little chip on their shoulder. I think he feels like he needs this game very badly for his, legacy at the midpoint of his career. I think Jacksonville gets it done. I'm
going to take the Bills only because Josh Allen could be enough by himself.
He could be, yeah, sure.
Could be. I don't have a lot of confidence in this pick, but I feel like if it gets down to it, they got to deal with that guy. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jacksonville won. I'll take the Bills. Niners at Eagles. Niners coming off of that tough loss against Seattle. Eagles coming off of basically a bye week where they rested against their Commanders game that they lost. Who do you like?
He's not necessarily big game Kyle. I just don't trust Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs. I'm going with the Eagles at home, full throat crowd, Sunday afternoon. I'm going to say you got a championship pedigree there that maybe they're just ready to step it up a little bit. I'm going to go Philly at home.
Eagles aren't going to lose that game. They just aren't going to lose that game. I get a feeling they've got a playoff mindset, Rick, that they've been just kind of laying over here. They're healthy on defense again. Carter's back. Them boys are tough. They've been there. They're talented as everything.
I know.
I got a feeling that they're kind of dialing up for this particular situation. Chargers at the Patriots Sunday night game. Vrabel's first playoff game as a coach in New England against Harbaugh. Chargers coming across the country.
It'll be his last playoff game this year because Jim Harbaugh and those guys took the week off, and they're going to be back full throttle. I think Chargers are going to go in there and win. I think they're going to win the game, and you're going to know who was the better team. I think they're going to control this football game. That's a good football team that none of people know, but but Chargers are very, very good. They're going to have all their starters back this week, especially that guy under center. So I think they win the game. Yep.
I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm so sold on these AFC East teams that I see way too much of. I feel like Vrabel at home Sunday night, Drake May is going to have them controlled. My concern with the Chargers is their ability to protect Herbert. Their line has been decimated. So we'll see if the Patriots can take full advantage of that one. And then the final game, Houston Texans. This might even be the most juiciest game. You got 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. Will this be the swan song? Another home game for the Steelers. Texans are coming in ready to eat. D'Amico Ryan's going to have those bad boys. Excited on the defensive side against the experienced Aaron Rodgers. Who do you like?
Texans are going to go to the Super Bowl. So I've got them winning the AFC.
Well, then they got to win this one, don't they?
They're the best team I think they're the best team right now in the AFC. I really do, and I think they're going to show it starting on Monday night. Even though I
also take the Texans in this one. I feel really confident that they're going to go in. The up for them is the down for the Steelers. Their ability to put pressure on is what Aaron Rodgers has struggled with this year. I feel like they're going to do that in spades. I'll be shocked if the Texans don't win this game. I don't know that it could be double digit. It could be double digit. They're
really good right now. They're really, really good right now in every phase. In every phase.
Yeah, they are. They are low, and they're hot. I think 9 in a row. To that effect. But
they're a locomotive. Yep.
But we know Mike Tomlin. They won't go out without swinging. So
no, they won't. They won't.
And they'll be lubed up as well. And both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's going to be lubed up all weekend. You got the Eagles on the east side and the Steelers on the west side. And shout out football in Pennsylvania. What a fantastic weekend for football, brother.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fun, man. It starts with the college game tonight and tomorrow. But I'm really, really looking forward to the. I'm looking much more forward to the NFL playoff weekend than this.
It is.
Playoff.
Well, we got 5 straight days of football starting tonight through Monday night. So get your rest and enjoy them all, bro. This is what we're here for. We'll miss it for 8 months, so we better get it in now.
Absolutely. Well, great stuff, brother, as always. And it's great to have you now. Hopefully we can lock you into this time going forward. Yep. Whatever works for you. Just let me know. We'll make it work.
We got
there's no show without you. I don't know. I've told you that. Well, you don't have David Smith. I mean, what am I doing here?
Well, you're too kind. I don't know. I can't read the chat because I keep it too small because I'm never going to have the monitor too big. I hate seeing myself on this. I told you that before.
You look great.
I only do it because I have to, but we'll do Monday morning at 6:30, right? We'll do that, and we'll keep it moving for that if that works.
Yeah, I think if Monday works for you, that's exactly what we'll do.
Yeah, we'll be able to recap all the games except the Monday night game on Monday, and we'll talk about how we saw it over the weekend. Appreciate you, brother.
You look great. I mean, you could do 10 or 15 minutes a game for Radford right now. You're still in that kind of
15. I got one screen left in me. That's it. Don't ask me for a rebound or none of that. No, don't ask me to guard anybody. One screen, and I'm asking for a sub.
One screen and you're done? You need a water break? Yeah,
I'm out, brother. Stay in my lane. Stay in my lane. By the way, shout out Radford for the big win last night. Big one on Saturday. You all get to the Deadman. Watch my boys.
You'll be there Saturday? Well, I'll see you Saturday?
Yeah, we should be there Saturday. Yep, should be there the next 3 Saturdays, God willing. So we got, Longwood, Asheville, Longwood, High Point on Saturdays.
Yeah, the trifecta coming up.
Yeah, High Point took care of Gardner-Webb last night. Wow.
Just a little bit. You know, the first score I saw was 34-2.
So I'm watching I'm watching your broadcast, really? And listen, I'm watching, and Pebbles and I are watching, and we have it on the ESPN app, and so you get to scroll through all of them. We watch, different games, and we saw that score, and I thought it was a misprint.
I know.
I don't know what to make of that, but I've got my
ideas. That's pretty good when you're up 34-2.
That's not bad. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. There you go.
All right, brother, great stuff, man. You and I know we'll be communicating this weekend. So
you got it. Absolutely. Keep the phone charged, brother, and we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right,
give my best to Pebbles.
You got it, brother.
All right, man. Take care. Take care. Great stuff from David Smith. And I agree with everybody in chat. He's better than anybody who's running their mouth on TV right now talking about the NFL, David Smith. Outstanding. All right, we're keeping it rolling along here. We told you we were awesome guest heavy here early on, and it's good to have Andy Bitter back. Happy New Year, my friend. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Hey, how was the trip to New York? That was great. And David Teal was up there too? I mean, he was telling me so.
Yeah, we went to the same showing of Hamilton.
Did you really?
They had booked theirs, and then we're like, hey, that sounds like a fun trip. We should go and do something like that too. We ended up booking it, and like, oh, we're going on this Saturday. And Teal's like, I think that's the same weekend that we're going. So we ended up getting dinner beforehand and some drinks afterwards, and we saw the play. And now we made a whole weekend of it. It was a sort of a history trip / New York. We saw the Hamilton's house and where he's buried, the Statue of Liberty, and all that stuff. It was really fun.
Oh, that's so cool, man. And your daughter will remember that forever, right? That's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Then last day we went to NBC Studios tour, so we got to see like the Saturday Night Live stage and stuff like that. And they like we sat on this fake Today Show set and like did a segment on the Today Show. So, and my daughter she's like, I'm so shy, I don't want to do it. So she was like the camera operator behind the scenes. So.
Oh, I got you. Well, that's great. I'd love to see you hosting the Today Show. I think that'd be.
I thought he did an okay job. Yeah, I've been on podcasts before, so maybe it's a little cheating to be able to do it. But
my goodness, here we are in the middle of the portal. Your thoughts? The Tech salaries were out. What's some of the things you've been, keeping up with that stand out to you so far about Tech's, off season here?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of happening at once, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They're still putting together this staff, 9 assistant coaches at this point. There's no one announced any of them. It's a little strange, but I think they have 2 more that they're hiring. Quarterbacks coach, it sounds like it's Anthony Midget. There have been reports to that effect. And then they're going to hire a safeties and co-defensive coordinator as well. So, who knows who that's going to be? Anthony Poindexter goes to Tennessee. Some rumblings out there of different names, but they still have to complete that whole staff. And, the funny part is they haven't announced anybody, but some of these guys have been recruiting for like a month. Like they have been in position, and all these recruits are like, oh, shout out to Ty Howell for the offer. It's like, guys, he's here, he's working. They like, they've got these Twitter backgrounds and stuff too. You can acknowledge that these people have been hired. So a little strange how they're doing the whole thing, but They'll announce them eventually. We got the salary information for them, and it looks like it's coming in under. He's allowed to go up to $9.5 million with his staff, but they're not going to touch that. So they'll come in a little bit under that. It'll be interesting to see where they can use some of those savings. Perhaps throw it in the NIL side of it, perhaps the rev share part of it to help along that whole thing. But that's sort of the how can you reallocate money these days? If you're not spending in one place, it can help you in another place.
Well, that's right.
Players are exactly where that can help.
That's true. I mean, every dime counts, right? Many people in chat are asking, what do you think? I mean, it's hard to know, right? Because they got to get here, they've got to develop, they got to fit in. But what do you like on paper from some of the guys we've seen out of the portal the most? Some of the guys that Tech have, got.
Well, I think what's interesting is you look at the group, and with the exception of Jaquez White, who the cornerback who committed yesterday, they're all long-term guys. Last year, what did you see with Tech allows in 1 year, 2 years? Felt kind of like rentals that they're bringing in to plug and play, and that can work. I mean, look at how UVA did last year. They did a really good job. They won the conference. Well, they didn't win the conference, but they were the best team in the conference, and won 11 games on the season. Now they're having to do it all over again because they lost a bunch of those guys. A bunch of them graduated. So I look at this and you see, Daniel Jennings, Matt Henderson, Justin Bell, Javion Hilson, Jeff Exner. They all have 4 years of eligibility left. So obviously there's a connection with a lot of these guys from Penn State that, wanted to continue playing for Franklin, but these are long-term guys. And some of them, I think I look at Hilson specifically. I think he was rated a 5-star by one service coming out of high school. I think he can step in and compete right away. I think a couple other guys in that group can as well, but they're not getting these guys just to come in and be like, all right, plug and play. 1 year you're here, you're out. It's going to be long-term stuff, and they're going to try to develop them over a number of years.
Well, you hope. But in this,
every year is a free agency at this point, so who knows? But I mean, that is the ideal situation. Is you get them, you can develop them for a while.
Well, you're right. Free agent, you used a great term. That's what it is, isn't it? I mean, that's what we have. Imagine if the NFL was like this, where every player just jumps into free agency. That's what college football is right now, isn't it? With no rules. It's all free agency.
Yeah, it is. And people hear that and think that I'm talking negatively about that. I'm not. I don't. If they're just regular students can go anywhere they want every single year. So all these coaches, this is the Wild West. Why are we doing free agency in the middle of the season? It's like, well, this was your own fault, NCAA. This is your own fault, coaches, for putting the calendar where you did. They chose to put the transfer portal where it is right now. They chose to put the early signing day where it is right now, forcing all these early firings and things like that. So, these coaches complain about everything, it feels like. It's like, you set the rules on this thing. I feel like it's the you can leave. I think you can leave a hot dog meme guy. Like, we're all trying to find out who did this. It's like, it's you. You're the ones who did this. You set the schedule on this. So don't Nick Saban, especially on game day every day, is like, wait, this is ridiculous. And you're forcing these coaches, like, you guys set the schedule. So you figure it out first and then come back and come to the rest of us about how you want to do it. And then maybe you can find some rules that can apply to everybody. But it's unsustainable, the system of free agency every year, and people can up and leave whenever they want to. Yeah. And you see the Washington guy now who committed and signed a contract, and then he's going to go somewhere else. It's like, well, that's going to be ugly. It's like, what, you going to sue this player in court and force him to play for you? Like, I just don't feel like that's a proper outcome for this whole thing. But that'll be an interesting one to watch, because how strictly are these schools going to enforce these contracts or go after players that break these contracts? This all feels very much like employment, and it feels like if you get to that point, perhaps that I'd feel a little bit more sympathy for some of the schools, but right now I just don't.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to have to be employment. I think from what I hear around people, ADs around the Big South, they feel like that's what's going to happen. I don't know when. David was on yesterday. David Till, he doesn't see this thing getting straightened out for the next 2 or 3 years. He hopes he's wrong. No. He hopes he's wrong, but he doesn't see any changes.
Yeah, and there are hurdles to employment too.
And
people like myself are like, collective bargaining, and then there's like legal lawyers that say, well, there's like right to work states and then private institutions that you're dealing with. Like I think eventually the whole football operation will need to just be separated from the schools, and like you're licensing something to a professional league that is separate from this whole. There's going to be a way to do it. And, I've talked to Whit Babcock about this. He's like, well, we have student employees in other facets of the university. Why can't you have student employees when it comes to athletics as well? So yeah, I think there's a way to eventually do it. It'll be hard. It'll be messy, but the NCAA just runs to Congress every time. They're like, Congress, save us. It's like, this Congress, that's the one you're asking to save you? They can barely tie their own shoes right now. They're not going to come and save the NCAA right now. So I think they're putting their eggs in the wrong basket if they think that's going to be the white knight to come in and save this whole thing.
You think they'll ever address the calendar seriously so everybody will stop complaining about it? You think that's going to happen anytime?
Well, nobody ever can agree on when to put it.
Yeah.
Here's how I do it. I put signing day back in February. I mean, that's what it needs to be.
After the season.
It's ridiculous in December. You're playing bowl games. It's ridiculous in early December. That's right after all these coaches have been fired. And all of a sudden, like a lot of coaches get hired 2 days before the signing day now. And it's like, okay, all these players have to turn around and make the most important decision of their lives in 48 hours, having never met these coaches before. Like Virginia Tech was fortunate when it hired James Franklin. So it had a little bit of a lead up in this whole thing. That part's ridiculous. So I think they have to move that back. The transfer portal is going to have to be when it is, because that's when the semester break is.
Well, that's right.
People are like, well, you move it back to post spring or something like that. It's like people are still going to want to switch schools in the middle of the semester. So I don't know how you get around that. I think the key part is you need to start the season earlier or start the playoff earlier and just churn out the playoff games one after another. There's no reason why they can't play the playoff games every week of December.
Right.
And finish the season around New Year's or the week after New Year's. And this thing where they're dragging it out 3 weeks into the new year, it's like, well, you're on your worst enemy in this whole thing. The NFL starts the playoffs right after the NFL season and just one every week all the way to the end. Why can't college do that? They do that at the FCS level. I mean, they played the championship game last week. This past week on Monday, I believe. Why can't they do that at the FBS level? Why does it always have to be 2 weeks in between all these games? It's absurd.
I'm with you 100%. The FCS always had their system and nobody ever complains, right? It's always gone on. 16 teams, the playoffs, like you said, they play. There's no break, and nobody ever really, I know it's the FCS and it doesn't make as much money, but still.
This thing will make as much money, and people will watch. I mean, people are watching the heck out of the season. They're watching the heck out of these playoff games. If you change a little bit, people aren't going to abandon the sport in droves. They've been saying that for years, and it's still the most watched as it's ever been for college football.
Yeah, 13% higher, something like that across the board. So it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so I don't know whether I'm just going to ask because I keep getting asked, is there any problem with Ethan Grunkemeyer? No announcement. People said that he put I don't know, I don't follow it, but they said he put another Penn State picture back on his X account. I mean, are we sure he's coming? He hasn't done anything tech-wise, or are they just trying to finalize some things?
To the best of my knowledge, I feel like that reporting is solid. When those guys put that kind of stuff out there, like those national guys that actually make a prediction, I feel like that's typically 99% of the time it actually happens. I don't have any inside knowledge to say it's going to happen. But I would imagine, I mean, why would you go back to Penn State at this point? They have Rocco Becht now. I mean, if you're like looking for a place to play, it wouldn't make any sense to go to a place where you go, well, that's going to be the starter. Virginia Tech, that's not the case. Now, the Bryce Baker guy was like rumblings for him for Virginia Tech. I can't imagine both of those guys come to Virginia Tech. That's how the transfer portal works. So many quarterbacks go where they can play.
100%.
Where they have an opportunity. Yeah. So, and I saw Gio Lopez ended up going to Wake Forest yesterday. So maybe that closes a door there. I don't know, but I have no reason to believe that that's not going to happen. But I don't know why it hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah. It's kind of, I understand why people are like, well, I wonder why he hasn't put Tech colors on. Yeah, I get it.
Again, even if announced, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're finding it out, aren't we?
Anthony Calandria announced he was going back to UNLV, and now he's the Nebraska quarterback. Demond Williams announced and even signed something saying he was going back to Washington, and now he's going to be – where's he going? You see it? Where was it? I can't remember where he ended up going. Someplace that signed him away. So all these – yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. It was LSU, maybe. I think LSU is where he was trying to go.
Yeah.
So, until the semester starts, these guys are actually in school. Then I have a hard time fully believing that they're coming here.
True. That's very true. Very, very true. Well, let's get into the games. Let's talk about the good things that are still out there. Tonight and tomorrow, semifinals. The Canes have really stepped up. I mean, you and I talked about it. I remember you saying a long time ago during the season, Miami's not playing up to it yet, but they are the best team. And boy, oh boy, they're playing like it now, or they're stepping up now. And really Carson Beck has taken over that team here when they need it the most. And that defense has been ferocious, man. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, the defense more than anything has really impressed me. And going back, I wonder if I probably should have voted for Ruben Bain as player of the year in the ACC. I think the guy is just a wrecking ball on that defensive line.
Yeah.
I think that's really the heart of this Miami team. The offenses could be hit and miss. You saw that Texas A&M game, where nobody could get any kind of offense going in that whole thing. But Carson Beck has made enough plays in this playoffs to put them in a good position. And I think when he left Georgia, everybody's like, good riddance. See you later. It's like, well, he won a lot of games at Georgia and he's still playing at Miami and Georgia's not. So how great of a move was that for Georgia to let him go in that situation? And, Miami's playing well enough that it's not like they're not just in this Final Four. I think they could win it. And certainly with the draw they have, I mean, they're playing Ole Miss. I think they're favored in that game. I haven't seen the lines recently, but I think they have a good chance to win that. And then you get the title game, and who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think Miami wins. I do. I think they're going to win. And then the rematch of the Big Ten on the other side with Indiana and Oregon and all this stuff about beating a team twice. Well, it comes down to one game. What do you think? Can Indiana keep the ball rolling? Man, they look – Alabama got beat down like I haven't seen them get beat down
since the Music City Bowl, since the 98 Music City Bowl.
98, right.
I keep looking at it, and it's tough to beat a team twice. Oregon's going to be motivated after losing that game, and then the other side of it is, man, Indiana is I just keep expecting them to falter at some point, and for you look at them and you're like, this Cinderella run. They're not Cinderella. They are an absolute monster of a team that is just destroying opponents, and it's impressive. And every time you doubt them, I mean, they're the only undefeated team in the country, and they have the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and a coach who's just absolutely ruthless. I mean, it looks like the Grinch on the sideline, like staring down, like, you thought we were going to jump off sides on that thing, like. He's hilarious and just absolutely ruthless. And I think I'm coming around to the idea that nobody's going to beat Indiana in this thing.
It feels like
and it's just, there's this cognitive dissonance in my mind, like Indiana football. And yet if you remove the uniforms and you just look at how these teams are playing, I feel like you'd kind of have to be crazy not to pick Indiana or make them the favorites in this whole thing to win this out. So, I think my brain is telling me Oregon, but I think you just have to be like, no, I think Indiana's going to win this thing. And I think they're going to win the national championship. They're just such a machine that they go out there and they're so well coached. And it was just really impressive to watch them. And it's the best story in sports.
It is. And you've covered stuff a long time, man. We both have. I don't recall anything like this, especially at a place like that. And you're a Big Ten guy. You grew up around it. That's the worst record ever.
I covered a game in Indiana. Wisconsin went down there and played when I was in school, and Antoine Randall L was the quarterback for Indiana, and he was incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the Wisconsin linebackers is trying how to tackle him. He's like, remember that Pauly Shore movie where he's on the farm and he's trying to get the chicken?
Unfortunately,
the chicken keeps running away. I believe it's called Son-in-Law. Was that we finally determined the name of that. They're like, that's what it was like trying to tackle that guy. It was impossible to do it. And Wisconsin still won the game handily, like won it by 3 touchdowns or whatever it was. And that stadium, it looks like Lane Stadium. Honestly, it has the same design with like sort of the sides that look like stair steps like that. Wake, Virginia Tech, and Indiana all have sort of the same design there. But it was just like almost a completely empty stadium. And to think that that team, as recently as 2 years ago, was still horrible, and now they're this good. I mean, it boggles the mind. And I think it's great. I think it's great for college football. I think it's a sign that, we talk about this transfer portal like it's the worst thing in the world, but it's like it's made Indiana competitive. It's helped make Indiana a really competitive team. And we have this absolutely fascinating Final Four right now with none of the like blue blood traditional schools that have been in it the whole time. Like, I'm more excited about this Final Four than I have been in 10 years in college football. I think this is great, and I think it's great for the sport. Yeah, it has an NCAA basketball tournament vibe to it. The early part, when we see the upsets and the underdog, I feel the same way. It's it's what it feels like. It does. I loved his answer. You got to ask, the sideline reporter, how did you keep your guys from being overwhelmed by the moment? And he had I love that you saw it. He just like, are we supposed to be overwhelmed because Indiana's our name? Is that what you're inferring? I just love that answer. Everything about it just sort of defies convention and what you're supposed to be in that situation. I like that. It's like they just sort of jump the line, like, no, we're here and we're good, and accept it. Yeah, just accept it and move on. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see what's going on. When do you think? I guess when they release salaries, there's not been a release or anything from Tech yet. I'm guessing pretty soon you guys will have more information coming your way. I hope so. Anyway. Yeah, I would imagine as soon as they get the entire staff. They haven't waited this long if they're not going to just wait until they do the entire staff before announcing it. But when we get to talk to them, good luck. I don't know. It might be a while. Might be a little while. Well, listen, brother, great stuff as always. Enjoy the games. I know you will. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see how it all plays out. Who you liking that Bears Packers game, by the way? You're an NFC North guy. I don't know, a meteor to hit both teams. As a Vikings fan, the Vikings fan. Yeah. I mean, I'll root for the Bears because I detest the Packers. They're my least favorite team in the NFL. And I kind of like the Caleb Williams story. I had him on my fantasy team, so I was invested in Caleb Williams. So there you go. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like next round. I want the Bears to lose too. So right. Lesser of two evils is what it comes down to. Yeah. So, well, enjoy the games, man. I know you will, and good to have you back, man. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again next week. All right. Sounds good. All right, brother. Take care. There you go. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Good stuff from him, as always. Coach Elmo. What game did you coach in, Coach Elmo? The Bears-Packers game? You coached in the Indiana game he's talking about. You coached in that one. Wow. Of course you did. You've done it all. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. We got a lot of stuff going on there. I've missed a lot. Let me know what you guys have been covering. Ready, Set, Fun. They'll cover you. Rob Christ at Gmail. It was $4,000 they raised for Floyd County softball. They had a $2,000 goal. They had $4,000 in 5 days. If you need legitimate financial help with your organization, your team, and you need to figure out a way to help get money, Ready, Set, Fund. Maybe I should create a Ready, Set Fund to help pay for this portable studio. maybe I should become a client. They're great, though, and Bob wants to help you. He's the brother of Dave Christ, the legendary Blacksburg High School football coach. Can't say enough about Travis Williams, professional door. You talk about a business. And an owner, his dad got it started 38 years. You go up there and you work for Trav, and he cares about you. Right? It's a career. He wants you to come up and create it as a career, and he'll train you. And I'm so glad they got their staff full. And 38 years in business, that's not a mistake. They've got national contracts, regional contracts, local. Garage doors better than everybody. And if you have a problem with yours, you want one, just don't call anybody else. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner BDST, thanks to Larry Ramsey.
the attorney Ryan Pry. Trust and estate planning is his specialty, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Dominating performance in our BDST fan question of the week for Miami and Indiana to win the next two nights. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. You can't say enough about Charles Lee and his crew. Some of the nicest people and most professional people I've ever dealt with. You know how sometimes you bring, contracting people to your house and you always cringe a little bit and you wonder, those guys, I always like to tell the story. I get back from the basketball trip. My neighbor comes up to me, your house got struck by lightning. My son was still here. He was finishing up high school. And he's like, Dad, it's been cold in the house. Well, we didn't have any heat because, boom, they got hit. They came and assessed it, showed me what it looked like. I'm like, whoa. We made the order the next day, waited a day. It was here. His crew was coming as I was going to work. And when I left that day thinking, well, I wonder how far they've gotten, it was done. I had new thermostats. House was warm. There wasn't one piece of trash, not one anything in my yard. It blew me away. Let them help you. You will not regret. You will not regret doing anything in Pulaski County. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, Jonathan Sweet, Tim Miller. You talk about, and they said, hey, Rick, we got some big announcements coming up. Bigger announcements. They never sleep. I'm convinced Jonathan Sweet never sleeps. Never. Thanks to Louise Baker for her support. Family Fencing, Jason Green, 540-200-8294. Let them come help get your yard prepped right now. Don't wait until warm weather. Get it done now so then when warm weather gets here in the spring, you're ready to go. They never stop, and they can do any kind of fencing you want in any variety you want. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley. I'm going to get over there today or tomorrow. Give him his T-shirt, and we got to work out a schedule when he has time for me to film me going over there and getting cracked. Sponsor of our always popping chat room. My goodness gracious. So great. Hey, Robert, good morning. That's our Montana connection. Hey, Robert, spread the word, man. We need to get our subscribers up. I'm going to get pushed here soon. Good to have you back. Happy New Year. Happy New Year indeed. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, James Lawson. They've been around for 30 years. It's 97, just about 30 years. 540-381-8011. And I think when we do our first BDST meetup, we're going to do it at the NRB Super Bowl. They've been around 25 years, and they are terrific. 382-5525. You got to see the improvements that they've made. You go in, you won't recognize the place. I don't remember the last time you were there, but it is awesome. It is awesome. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway in Pulaski. You need something printed, embroidery, engraving, go see him. He's great. And Harvey's GM. Of course, the big news this week, local business was that they sold to Sheeler. I know it wasn't an easy decision, but I'm happy for Brad and George Jr., and I appreciate all their support here on the program. And I don't think I've left anyone out. But, hey, the rest of the show is us. We'll just talk here for the next hour or so. Let's go Raiders, Robert says. Yeah, your Raiders are about to get a nice influx of good stuff. Yeah, it hurts me as a Broncos lifer. But the Raiders are about to get a really good coach. I think they could get – wouldn't you go to John Harbaugh and just say, all right, what's it going to take, man? Or even better, Kevin Stefanski is a really good coach. He was just with a god-awful organization. Sorry, Wayne, but you know it's true. He might be the better long-term hire. You put him with Mendoza. Whoo. Raiders have a chance here. The Raiders have a chance here. Unfortunately, Mark Davis is not Al Davis. That's the problem with the Raiders. That's the problem. Morris says the Bears bring back the Super Bowl shuffle. You think about marketing too. How great was that, right? Do you even see that kind of thing anymore that was just created on a whim? Now everything's so commercialized. You probably have to go through agents' contracts. How great was the Super Bowl shuffle? We are the Bears shuffling through. And they all had Walter Payton and all of them. Just so good. Like Milli Vanilli, girl, you know it's true. Brown stink. Hey, Chris, how you doing, brother? Christopher Lester. Good morning, man. Hope you're well. We've got to get into hoops. We'll do the good local news first. Radford last night, they were tied at halftime at 36 with Presbyterian. Presbyterian went on a big run, tied it up. And we just said coming out of the break into the second half, well, these first 5 minutes will tell us which team will one of these teams take a stranglehold on this game, or is it going to continue to be a battle? And sure enough, it was Radford. They got hot. Dale Jones in particular, the Clemson transfer, 27 points, and the Highlanders won it going away. And now they're 2-0 in the league. Asheville on Saturday, and the Tech game was the same time as the Radford game, so I couldn't keep up with it really. I was checking the score from time listening to our producer who's going to the scoreboard. And they were up by double digits with 4 minutes to go. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, they came back and took care of business. I get in the car, and our game ended. It was a very quickly paced second half, so our game was over before the Tech game. So they were still in the post-game show on the Tech network. And I was listening on the Bear, and I thought, okay, well, let's get the lowdown on this Tech win. And now here's Zach come back from a break, Zach Mackey. And he's just like very just, completely deflated. And I'm like, why is he not happy? And then the next sentence out of his mouth was, oh, Mike, there's no other way to say this. This is just an epic collapse, and Tech's going to have to figure this one out. This one's going to sting for a while. I'm like, what? And to find out some kid hit this three for Stanford from way out and put them ahead, and Tech lost. And that's a tough one. That's a tough one. They've got Cal. Cal got blown out by UVA last night. Look up some of the particulars here for Tech. Wow, and Tech even shot 19 of 25 in the foul line. Stanford only had 9 free throws in the game. Yikes. Tech won the rebounding war. They didn't turn the ball over. They hit 10 threes and Tech hit 7. So it was an evenly played game. Just Tech let it get away from them down the stretch. Stanford got hot from 3 and Tech couldn't convert. It happens. I did say, yeah, the Montana State game, it felt like the purity of college football, that FCS title game. What a great game. They won it in overtime on the 2-point conversion. And I know a little bit about that place, Robert. Bozeman, Montana State. We, being Radford University men's basketball, played there in your tournament many years ago when Ron Bradley was our head coach. I was just starting my career at Radford as their radio voice. And we played, went to that. We stayed near the campus, and Bozeman it was snowing, obviously. It was a lot of snow, but nice town, very nice college town. And even then, it was a nice campus and facilities. I can only imagine the money they put into it. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Congratulations, man. That was a whole lot of fun. And the FCS has had it right for a long, long time. And what a reward for them. What a payoff to have a game like that. The attorney, Ryan Pry. Well, I can address this question directly. Which teams are the best teams in the Big South? I believe it's High Point and Radford. The Highlanders didn't pay $3 million for its roster to not be good in the Big South, and it showed last night. There's too many good players offensively on that team for teams in the Big South to account for. And they focused on Dennis Parker Jr., and he still ended up with 22 points. But that allowed Del Jones to go off, which he did with 27. This is a good offensive team. And they're defending well so far through their first 2 games. And that's huge, too. Their defense has been really good first 2 conference games. So, yeah. High Point won their game last night by 55 points. High Point and Radford seem to be on a collision course. I know it's early. CSU's played well, Charleston Southern. They have 11 wins. Winthrop's good, especially at home. We see Asheville on Saturday. They have not played well. They did win last night against Longwood. Longwood is not bad. But I believe when we're talking about the championship game, unless people get hurt, it'll come down to High Point versus Radford. And that's not me being a homer. Well, maybe it is. And I know a lot of things can happen, but just looking at the talent, I think it'll be High Point Radford. Rick went looking for – well, it would still be Bigfoot. Wouldn't be a Yeti here in North America. I would love to – I want to go Bigfoot hunting. Wayne, you and I have talked about this. Unfortunately, Dr. Jeff Meldrum's not with us anymore, but we got to figure that out. All he had found was a Ridgejack. Yeah. Worst rebrand ever. Salem baseball. Whew. Prometheus says Tech was winning with teams missing their last shot. Well, they did. Last 3 games counting UVA, they've been hitting all those shots. Close games come down to 1 possession, nothing different. Tech was lucky early. Yeah. A lot of luck goes into winning close games. Yeah. They weren't last night. And obviously, Cal's a game they'll be heavily favored this weekend. You would think they would take care of business. Cal got blown out by UVA. UVA is really good at home. I think they're still undefeated at home. But Tech beat UVA. It took triple overtime, but they beat them. So you would think they could get back on the winning track. We shall see. Yeah, Montana's a beautiful state. Robert, you're very fortunate. Beautiful state. Want to go to Montana, find the best steakhouse there, do the old from okay, so which movie was it? The Great Outdoors. Remember when John Candy's character ate the old 96er? The steak challenge. It's one thing before I leave this earth I want to do. I don't know how big the stakes are now. I want to do that challenge. I want to not eat for like 24 hours. And I want to sit down with, I guess it would be a porterhouse, whatever it might be. And I want to sit down and try the old steak challenge. Just like John Candy. And at the end, he had to eat the gristle, but he got it done. I think that's a low-key, entertaining movie every time I see The Great Outdoors. Dan Aykroyd. I would love to. I'd love to. What do you get, like an hour? I guess it's like an hour to complete it. I think I could give it a good shot. But you also have to finish the sides. Mine would be potatoes, something it shouldn't be because you'd fill up too much. But Yeah. I'd like to give that a shot. I would. Have any of you guys done that? Have y'all done like a steak challenge? Anybody? Can you eat the steak, all of it, within a certain amount? Anybody done that? In Lonesome Dove, they took a cattle drive to Montana. It wasn't one of those fights in any which way you can or every which way but loose. Clint Eastwood. Was that filmed in Montana? Really? I don't know. Paul? No, Wayne. No. Grilled cheese challenge at Panera. Anybody ever watch Parks and Rec? And Ron Swanson? They later on added Rob Lowe to the show. Well, not later. It was like the second season, third season. It was a good decision. You remember when he had all these turkey burger? He was challenging the staff with his famous recipe for his turkey burger. And Ron just made a hamburger on a grill with a bun. It was beef versus whatever it was. And when they sat down with Rob Lowe's steak, oh, this is delicious. This is great. And then Rob Lowe's like, well, I thought this was going to be a serious challenge. So Ron gets up there and goes, here's mine. It's meat on a grill, on a bun. Eat it. You will like it. And then they all are like, oh, my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten. That's the way it would be if I were doing a grilled cheese challenge with Panera. They would have no shot. I can make a grilled cheese sandwich now. And it wouldn't break your teeth. You wouldn't have to go out and spend lots of money for dental work. Check out our new Panera dentures plan. Nothing like a quickly chilled bowl of soup to top off that lunch. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I've heard as well. Neo needs to be a better defensive player. He's not very dedicated on that end of the floor. We all have horses here. Oh, how great would that be? I used to ride a horse on the farm. I'd love that. I'd love to go horseback ride. Right turn, Clyde. And the orangutan threw a punch, right? Isn't that right, TLB? Didn't Clyde punch a guy? Yeah. Clyde punched a guy. How big is the steak, Christopher asked. Well, I don't know what it is now. 72 ounces. I think the one in the Great Outdoors was the old 96er. I would like to sit down and I would like to try it. I would. There's no question. We'd love to have Texas Roadhouse as a sponsor. You telling me a steak sponsor on this show? You talk about giving them full service. Yeah, the rolls are good there. Yeah, they are. TLB says he's on a coconut oil kick. My wife once made spaghetti using it. Was that a food challenge? I'm not a big coconut guy. How much do you taste the coconut? Let me know. So I don't know the answer, Chris. I'm guessing 72 ounces, something like that for the steak. I'd love to sit down for that challenge. If it's cooked the right way, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let me have my favorite beer, because beer goes better with steak. Let's do it. Let's go. We got to go. We got to go. Well, what freshmen there are. You know, Prometheus, we only have one freshman. You're going to see less and less of that. So I can't say it from a Radford perspective. All these guys are veteran college players that came in. But there's no doubt you do hit a freshman wall. It was something we used to talk about all the time back before things became the way they have evolved into in college athletics. Prometheus has some cannabis oil for you, TLB. Yeah, I'm thinking, Chris, if you're going to do the challenge, I think it's got to be at least 72 ounces. I'm not making the rule. I think that's what it has to be, at least 72 ounces. I think. I mean, you could not eat all day, work out, get walking, get your steps in, run, whatever, and you could go in and be starving and take your time and see. I would give it a shot one time. I would be. Yeah, I'm with you now, Brian. I don't think he's going to be a lottery pick now. He's not. I think he's kind of hit a wall playing American basketball, college basketball. I think it's become a lot more of a challenge than many people thought. He's a young guy, and he's going to develop further, but he's finding out, right? Yeah. Pina colada spaghetti. TLB says the only good coconut is on a coconut cake, period. Yeah, I've never liked the coconut taste. My family did. My mom, my brother. I never liked coconut. The only good coconut is an Almond Joys bar, Morris says. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Almond Joys got nuts. Mounds don't. First playoff game tonight, Miami and Ole Miss. Paul said he just checked. So the fight scene was filmed in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Oh, Wyoming, not Montana. Uh-oh, you're gonna make Robert mad. Don't be confusing Montana and Wyoming. And it was every which way but loose. Every which way but loose. You turn me every which way but loose. All right, help me out. Who sang, without looking it up, because I don't know the answer. Let's don't cheat. Who sang Every Which Way But Loose? I remember that song. If you have to cheat, that's okay. I don't want to cheat. Who sang Every Which Way But Loose? That was kind of a hit. It wasn't Kenny Rogers. Rick does not love Reese's. I love me some chocolate and I love me some peanut butter. Just don't mix them together. T.G. Shepard. Wow, there's a name I haven't heard. Look at you guys. TLB. T.G. Shepard. Oh, was it Eddie Rabbit? Wes Young. Eddie Rabbit. Ooh, that's right. It was Eddie Rabbit, wasn't it? I love a rainy night. Eddie Rabbit, Driving My Life Away. Man, those are some good tunes. Morris says, I forgot about that commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Yeah, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts and Mounds don't. Come on, man. I think Wes is right, too. Yeah, it's Eddie Rabbit. Yeah. What, he had that song Suspicion? Eddie had some hits, man. It's a great name, too. Eddie. If your last name is an animal, you got it going on. Like if I was Rick Tiger, Rick Grizzly Bear. Native Americans have it right, man, when they identify with animals. Ruth Gordon was the mom, really? I don't remember that. Okay. Right turn, Clyde. Well, he was just he was just a fighter, right? A bare-knuckled fighter. Is that what he did? He went around and just fought. Rodney saw Eddie Rabbit in concert at Roanoke. He was really good. He had a lot of hits, man. About the same time as Kenny Rogers. Windshield wiper slapping in time. Yep. Yeah, Driving My Life. Those songs come on, you're not turning them. Like if you got them on your phone, if you're listening, through your auxiliary system, or if you're on the Sirius satellite, and then somebody starts playing I Love a Rainy Night or Driving My Life Away, you're not looking to flip the channel. Turn this into Every Which Way But Loose. It's great. Best chat ever. Paul says, released December 20th, 1978. How old are we? Well, I don't think you have to be that old. It's just, if all these 97,000 streaming services we have to subscribe to would show movies like they should. I don't think that's true, TLB. They originally signed Bigfoot for the role of Clyde, but he was a no-show. He showed up on set, but every time they tried to film him, he was just so blurry and out of focus. He couldn't read his lines. Everybody is going to sit around their whole lives and they're going to deny and they're going to crap on Bigfoot. And one day, he's finally going to come out and go, all right, you know what? I have fooled all you stupid humans so long. Here I am. And he's probably going to talk that way too. I always get the impression, I joked about, it's God rest his soul. We lost Dr. Jeff Meldrum last year. And he was on the radio show twice. They had him on for an hour each time. It was, for me, as a Bigfoot enthusiast, it was awesome. And we talked about what if he's like so intelligent and he just comes out and starts talking to us like we do. Man, you guys just never came close to finding me. I mean, we would sit around, me and the boys, me and Donald over here. We would just sit around. Yeah, I just gave a Bigfoot the name Donald. We'd just sit around and just joke, watch you guys walk around here, not pick up on our clues. We'd show up and make noises and knock on trees and Donald and Kenny just hanging out. Get off my porch, get off my property. She was great. Yeah. I think Bigfoot was a cameo member of the Spiders dysfunctional biker gang. Speaking of something crazy, have you seen the young gal who's been prepared to go to Mars and not come back? Really? No, I have not. Is that a thing, really? They've got somebody trained just to go to Mars and stay there? Good luck. So I think we all go to Roberts in Montana. We find that steakhouse. We do the steakhouse challenge, the meat challenge, and then we look for Bigfoot for a weekend. That sounds like a fun time to me. I would love that. I want to do that one time. I want to go on a Northwestern, go to whatever states, Washington, Oregon, Montana, whatever it is. Spend a couple weeks out there and just traipse through the woods and try to find evidence of Bigfoot. I want to do that one time. It's hard to convince people to, hey, where do you want to go vacation? I got a great idea. It's hard. Oh, yeah. I was thinking more the beach or a lavish tropical environment. I want to kind of spend it in the woods. Might rain on us. We might have our throats gnawed out by a tarantula, but I want to go look for Bigfoot. Well, you can do worse. You can do worse than driving around with Eddie Rabbit blaring. Yeah. I hear some of the music out there today that some of the younger people want you to hear. Yeah, you could sit there at a stoplight with I Love a Rainy Night going and going, oh, yeah. And you know you're playing the best thing of anything you're going to hear from all the – just drive through Radford's campus and you got Eddie Rabbit going and they've got whatever they call music today. Yeah, TLB. As a matter of fact, they are. Buffalo and more. I'll give them a free plug. Louise Baker is very close with the owner. Yes. And Louise got me they made me a box of brownies for Christmas. It's delicious. It's right up here. It's less than a minute away from me. Yeah. $1978 Trans Am with Eddie Rabbit. I Love a Rainy Night. Yeah, sure. Because then you're paying homage to Smokey and the Bandit as well. Unfortunately, they've all passed away other than Sally Field. You know, I was thinking about that too. Morris, we grew up, most of us, we were listening to Led Zeppelin. You just throw it out there, coming up through the 70s, whoever it may have been. Queen, if you're a Pink Floyd fan, if you wanted the more pop music, you had Hall & Oates, ZZ Top, the Rolling Stones. It's hard to take a lot of what you hear today as music seriously when you had all that growing up. Right? What's up, Moss? Good morning. I'm well. Hope you are. Yeah, Journey. I didn't name them all. Yeah, throw them all out there. Steely Dan. And then you try to listen today, and you try to listen, and then you listen, and then you're just like, it's not good. Hey, Zach, how are you? I think Miami wins tonight, Zach. I'm going to agree with everybody on our Attorney Ryan Pratt BDST fan question of the week. I'm going to go with Miami and Indiana. Jeff says, good morning, Rick. My 20-year-old loves our music. That's awesome. Fleetwood Mac, great. You're doing a great job. That's how I've based a lot of my parental skills on what my children say about the music. My son has been, Stevie Ray Vaughan, no doubt, yeah. Van Halen. I mean, fill in the gap. The Who. Joni Jett. I mean, Heart. You're not finding anything today that's remotely close to that. You're just not. My son's been in from Wise, the last 3 weeks. It's been great having him back. And, he has his backup piano here still, and I heard him up there, and he's playing nothing from his era. Yeah, he's playing Take Me to the Pilot by Elton John. He's playing Almarina, which he plays wonderfully. He's playing some Queen stuff, and I'm like, I did some things right. My daughter will be – she did one of her thesis papers in college when she was at VCU on Queen. And one of them was, the movie was not good. It got, I think the actor won an Academy Award, got rave review, but it was not good. It was not accurate at all. And she was pointing out why. And I'm just like, you know what? We did some things right. Oh, Eric Clapton, that's right. Kareem Rodney. I mean, name any of those folks. Yeah, way before auto-tune. The Bee Gees. And there's a lot of videos to get around with them sitting on the Tonight Show or some show, and they were harmonizing just on cue. So much talent. Oh, yeah, well, Hendrix, yeah. Rick wears his sunglasses at night. Thanks to Neil Leahy, I know those lyrics now. I never understood what the hell he was saying. I've forgotten them now, but Neil knows them all. Same thing with Take On Me. No, Rick's favorite band is not Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews is some of the worst recorded noise in the history of music that people actually think is good. I don't understand it, especially when he starts trying to sing. Yeah, the Bee Gees were more than disco. They made a massive hit. That's when Barry started singing with the falsetto all the time. Saturday Night Fever album, one of the greatest selling albums of all time. They were terrific songwriters, great artists. He's the only one left, sadly, of the brothers. Oh, yeah, and my all-time favorite song by the great Glenn Campbell, Wichita Lineman. If you haven't listened to Wichita Lineman, as soon as the show ends, do it on your way to work. If you want to make time with your significant other, just sing that line to her that says, "And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time." That might be the greatest line ever written. Jimmy Webb wrote that song, the great Jimmy Webb. Bee Gees, incredibly, incredibly talented. Motown, absolutely. The Spinners, the Four Tops, Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, Prince. And then you're going to tell me that the music today, there's a guy that's got a hit song about stir fry. What in the hell are we doing? And remember that there's so many, it's just so many all the way turned up. When I hear that, and they still play it a lot of the Radford springtime sports or the fall sports, all the way turned up. What are we doing? It's just Kiss with still the greatest marketing gimmick in the history of music with the makeup. I did too, TLB. I saw that Van Halen concert in 1984. I sure did. Then I went to see 86 when they came back, 5150 with Sammy. I wanted to see, and I ended up surprisingly liking it more than I ever thought I would. But of course, for Wade, it's Poison. No, Prometheus, it's not Taylor Swift. I wish I had a cassette deck. You know, those things are coming back. The cassettes and cassette decks, things like that. You know, I got my son one a few years ago. He wanted a retro cassette deck and cassettes of old albums, and I got him some. He still has it. He still has it. TLB saw Van Hagar twice. I saw him once. It was better than I thought. Yeah, albums, vinyl has come back in a massive way. The older albums, the original albums are worth lots of money. Yeah, it is coming back. Because all this condensed sound in, CDs and the way it's all been compressed and cleaned out has taken so much of the vibe away. When you put on an album, the purity of the music, and anybody who is a musician or in the industry will tell you it was made, and now it's all just so. It's why now instead of breaking out your album and putting on your turntable, we sit around and let's go to Spotify and listen to a song that's been condensed and modified. I don't know, Joseph, what has happened to the great concerts in Roanoke. Fortunately, Dr. Pepper Park's got some things going on. Those musicians got older, and I don't know if we'd want concerts now in Roanoke. That's right, Coach Elmo, sports critique, music critique. Yeah, that's what makes the show original. We kind of go into other things. We've already covered everything sports-wise, right? We're ready for the game tonight. Talked about hoops. We're ready to go. Brian says, I'll see you an 8-track. It might still work. Wow, an 8-track. Yeah, I hear a little bit of the cracking and popping, but the music purity it doesn't take away from it. Not the same, man. You can listen to a song online. You can call up a streaming service all you want. Okay. You can download a song. But, boy, when you buy it, Jack White's Third Man Records is a big part of the vinyl revival. I like the newer artists that understand and respect what came before and how much better it was. I would trust Coach Elmo on any topic, chat says. Yeah, me too. Coach Elmo is awesome. We might get Coach Elmo back on tomorrow. I think I will. Coach, if you're watching still, let's plan on getting you back tomorrow. We'll break down game 1 of the playoffs tonight, and we'll get your taste on music. And I'll say this, Coach. I mean, I know your taste on your significant other is outstanding. Yeah, so we'll have Coach Elmo back on tomorrow if he's got time. Mike Ashley and Jen tomorrow, too. How many mixtapes? Wow. Countless, Wayne. You'd have a new one about every week. Roanoke can now listen to music in the casino. Laughing out loud. Oh, yeah, man. May he forever rest in peace. We miss Fred the Beatles guy. I talk with his brother quite frequently. He's actually a Radford booster supporter, and he'll come up. And Fred, I still have the last things Fred made us. He passed away shortly after the show started back up on radio in 2020. And he would call the show. He had great sports takes. I mean, he knew everything about Virginia Tech sport. He was and Wayne, you remember, those of you who remember Fred the Beatles, the guy was amazing. And then we called him Fred the Beatles guy for a reason. He knew every factoid about every aspect of every Beatles recording, concert, and he never looked. You would just sit there and ask him about a specific song, and the guy would just sit there. All right, Coach Elmo's in for tomorrow. Beautiful. And he would just sit there and reel it off, and you're just going, we miss Fred. Fred was a great guy, and of course, damn it, cancer. Cancer took him way too soon. He started calling back on the show, and one day he called as soon as the show ended, and he said, "Rick, it's so great that you're back on. I need to tell you that." He said something like, "I probably won't be able to listen too much longer." And I didn't. What are you moving? He goes, "No, I've been diagnosed." And he was telling me the cancer. And then sure enough, we found out that he had passed like a week later. But I have to show them. I still kept them. He made CDs and Beatles stuff. It's cool, man. And memories like that really help make the show, part of my professional and personal journey too. Absolutely. Hashtag cancer sucks. Yep. How many folks is it taken out of your life? I know how many it's taken out of mine. My mom being the latest. Yeah. Rodney, here you go. High school hoops sophomore Owen Jackson, Fort Chiswell, go Pioneers, scored his 1,000th point as a sophomore. Fastest to 1,000 in Virginia history. All right, well, let's give Owen his flowers. Thanks, Rodney. You cover of high school sports, you. Sorry, Prometheus. Yeah, took your dad. Yeah, Wayne, he did. He had an incredible collection, man. He had everything. 1,000 points as a sophomore. My goodness, that's awesome. Well, I don't mean this flippantly, but I hope they keep him. You see recruiting now in high school too. There's NIL happening in high school, or pay for play. I hope he doesn't get ripped out, but that might be a kid that ends up at somewhere else anyway. Good for him, man. That's awesome, Roddy. Thank you. 1,000 points as a sophomore. Jeez Louise. Paul says, Rodney, come on down to cover the 9-0 Hidden Valley. Go Titans, Hidden Valley boys basketball team. Good people down at Hidden Valley High School. Brenda King, God rest her soul, whose son Jared played baseball at UVA. When I was doing high school basketball, at one point, Brenda was both the boys and girls coach at Radford High School. She finished her career. Guess what? She also lost her life to cancer. She finished at Hidden Valley High School, the girls team there. One of the most wonderful and influential people that I've ever known. Yeah, it's still early season too, Wayne. That's true. We just got started, and he's got 1,000 points. Cougars will be playing Hidden Valley soon. Didn't the Cougars and the Bobcats have a banger the other night? Was that like a 1-point Radford win or something, Rodney? Wasn't that a really great game, Pulaski County and Radford? Yeah, TLB, no doubt. I agree 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hit us up in chat here. Tomorrow we'll have Coach Elmo at 7, Mike Ashley 7:30, and then Jen at 8. Blacksburg's best player, Jackson Keys, transferred to North Cross because Ole Miss told him it'd be better for his chances of getting a scholarship. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's happening all over. It is. It's tough to keep high school kids in their area. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, NRV Super Bowl, Harvey's GM, Top Shelf Apparel, Family Fencing Studios. That's where I'm at right now in the Family Fencing Studios. McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to Louise Baker, Long and Foster Realtors, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, Little River Heating and Air, the attorney Ryan Pry, National Bank member FDIC, Professional Door, and the Ready Set Fund. If you want to help your business, and I've had a lot of these folks tell me how much they've gotten great response and gotten a lot of business from this program, hit us up. We let you choose the budget. If you know anybody who wants to jump on and sponsor, now that it was a tough time to kind of go through the rest of the year because people were coming out of the fiscal in the last quarter. So if anybody wants to hit us up, man, I will respond to you. Yeah. So, yeah. And subscribe, like, and share the channel every day. Maybe I could cook an old 96 and we all could share it. I know that's at least 2 steaks combined because there's not one cut of beef that's 96 ounces. So they do something there with the all-time leading scorer at Fort Chiswell is Blair Jackson, Owen's sister. So she's the all-time girls leader, huh? Great stuff, man. That's cool. Nice. 6 pounds of steak. Yes, have some. Yeah. And your point is, Wayne? Can somebody look that up? Can somebody just type into the AI Google? I don't know how you would word it. When you're sitting down for the steak challenge, how many ounces usually is that steak? Or what's the average ounce? And whatever that is, that's what we'll try to do. I want to try it once. I'm not saying I would succeed, but I would like to try it one time. It is coming up 72. That's what I thought, Chris. See, it's got to be 72 ounces. Not 71, certainly not below 70. Doesn't count. Get an hour to eat it. A lot of them, though, have the rules where you can't get up from the table. And that would be tough. Not to be able to walk around. Medium rare, the only way to cook steak, Chris. There's no other way. I have not seen the lady who takes on huge food challenges. Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, Wayne just sent it. Yep, there we go. 72-ounce steak challenge. Yeah. I would do it. That looks really good. I would do it in a heartbeat. Let's go. No, Wayne. No. You know that's no A1. Look, if you have to put A1 or steak sauce on your steak, you're not preparing it correctly. And that's not arrogance. That's just fact. Steak is naturally, however you season it and whatever you do to marinate it, that's all you need to do when you cook it. You don't need any of the other crap. Now, if you want to add things just because you like it, obviously bacon and steak, bacon and anything. I had out in San Francisco with Radford basketball. I like to tell this story. When Coach Jones came in for the Hall of Fame and we were out after the event, his treat, by the way, we were talking about the good old days. And I got up, we got to this place. It was out on the pier, on the wharf out there in Frisco. And I came back and I was like, oh, I need to order. And Coach goes, I got you. You're good. He already knew me very well. I said, really? He goes, yeah, we got you. And everybody was just kind of looking around and saying, all right. And he got me a ribeye, medium rare, my potatoes, the Texas toast. I don't remember the other side. But it had crab sprinkled fresh. And we're talking Pacific Ocean crab. And it was sprinkled on top of the steak. And wow. I haven't been able to replicate that correctly. I tried once, it didn't work. And I'm telling you, man, it was absolutely delicious. Prometheus says, I can't stop eating or I'll lose my appetite. You have to eat it very fast. Well, you would fit in then. There you go, Prometheus. You'd be a prime candidate. Yeah. 75-ounce steak challenge in Texas. I can't rush my steak. I enjoy it. I get it, TLB. I understand. Shula's in Miami. They used to have a great reputation. And they had that. Okay. They had a signed letter of acknowledgement from Don Shula. That'd be cool. Hey, I got Coach Shula's acknowledgement that I finished off his challenge. Smokehouse seasoning from Kinders. But it was the only seasoning to pull me from Montreal. Okay. Well, I'm the Montreal guy too. All right, Prometheus. I trust chat in a variety of ways. Let's go. Let's do it. Smokehouse seasoning. Okay. Next time I'm in the spice aisle, I'll have to grab a bottle of it. A little. Look, I'll try anything. I know how I like it. I know how I fix it. You should try a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper from the nice lady. Nice lady. Meat sweats. Yeah, I think if I ended up getting, I never have gotten meat sweats, and I don't think I would mind. Oh, Morris, you have one from sure. You've done it, Morris. You've done the challenge. Dude, that's awesome. Didn't realize you had done the challenge. That's cool. People are asking about the point spread tonight. Miami's actually 3.5-point favorites, by the way. How about that? Indiana, 3.5-point favorites. Kind of sounds like Vegas is bailing out a little bit on this one. They're each 3.5. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. Come on, man. That is, so those of you who've asked on the professional text line, that's 7:30 tonight on ESPN. Hot damn, ESPN. And I saw a lot of people making comments there. I'm the same way. I just usually mute it. I don't listen. It's hard. Coach Elmo, again, shocker, right? You said it right. Everything that they broadcast just becomes, it's all self-promotion. They don't talk about the event at all. The game is secondary. And they're going to be so biased in favor of Ole Miss tonight because they do not want to have the final not have an SEC team. Miami's going to be so talked against tonight. And I know they have a contract with the ACC, but you know what it's all about for them. Morris City did it 20 years ago at the original Shula. That's awesome, man. Good for you. And you won it. Look at you, Morris. But he was in high-speed pursuit of a maniac who was sitting beside him. I think I sent it to Wayne. They showed, I don't know, Bert was being honored or had won an award. And Jackie Gleason came out as Buford, just out of the blue, full uniform, wearing it just like the movie. So clever. Things he said, people went nuts. They just went absolutely nuts over it, man. You don't get comedy anymore either. You can't have comedy, because people are going to be offended. We don't want to be offended. The old choke and puke. I saw that movie a few weeks ago. I think I talked about it here on the show. You need your Smokey and the Bandit fix. I checked in with Aaron McFarlane a couple of weeks ago. He still has not watched Smokey and the Bandit. I don't get it. I don't understand. What do you mean you haven't watched it? All right, more questions, man. I cannot wait till Ethan Grunkmeyer finally does something to say, yes, I'm definitely coming to Tech, because I'm getting more and more I cannot wait until he finally turns his X account over to Tech Colors. Well, you heard Andy. Andy said he doesn't think there's a problem, but he did say it's a little weird. There hasn't been an announcement. I agree. I think people ran with it early. And at this point, and I appreciate it. This is why you're the best audience. I was just assuming it was, okay, when are they going to announce who he's going to be throwing the ball to, to see his X account not change, and when he added stuff from Penn State, I don't think he's going back to Penn State. It tells me that somebody has come in. What I would guess happened is that somebody's come in with a better offer than what he was going to get at Tech, and now he's – yeah, but that was old. I think they were going – come on, ACC Network's ESPN. I'm sure they were basing that on the original reports too. Yeah, exactly, Paul. And it was the peeps on the text line who said, go check out his account. There's not one mention of Tech in any way, shape, or form. And he's holding up the trophy in their bowl game. I don't know why, if you had signed, you would wait. That does you no advantage to wait. So what it tells me is the deal is not final, and that maybe somebody has swooped in from somewhere else knowing he has 3 years left and has made him an offer, and now Tech's trying to come up with more money. We'll probably never honestly be told that, if that's the case. All right, thank you, Prometheus. Got it. Wood-fried garlic seasoning from Kinder's. Hey, I will. Absolutely, I will. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. It says, thank me later. You will never go back. All right. I'm in, man. I'm in. Absolutely, I will. I mean, I know how I like things, and I know that I cook steak very well, and what I do with steak is very good. But I'm always willing to try things. Absolutely. No problem. No problem. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, Gio Lopez going to Wake. Marva will be very happy. If a guest asks for A1, the only correct answer is that's not no. Yeah, you either don't answer the question or you just kind of kick them off the show. How is A1 a thing? Well, Andy didn't necessarily – Andy said he thought it was good. But he did throw in at the end, caveat, but it is strange that one particular signing, because your quarterback signing is who you're going to bring out of the portal as a quarterback can also help influence many other guys out of the portal, right? That's your new team leader. That's guys, if you're trying to get position players, you're trying to get skilled players. So from that standpoint, I get it. I understand why people would be confused. Oh, is that the case? Okay, so Paul says even the 247 sports portal under Tech does not show him listed as a transfer. I did think it was strange, and Andy just said the same thing, that it was the day or two after all the reports came out about Gruckenmeyer, then all of a sudden you saw them going after the Carolina kid. Now, I know he's supposed to be a backup, but I know they were also going to pay him 7 figures. That's what he was asking. So you're going to pay 2 guys 7 figures? One guy to come and be the backup? I don't think so. Morris says, good Lord, Wayne, it's either tofu or Panera Bread. Are you just punching the big dog? The problem with Wayne and Panera is he really, really, I think he eats at Panera every other day. Wayne loves him some very quickly chilled soup and rock hard bread crust. All for the low, low price of $77. What kind of beverages do they have at Panera? Is it like you order something, they just give you like a warm lemon tea or something? Wayne, what's the beverage of choice? That's going to be some kind of weird lemonade, berryade concoction or something, right? Paul says he eats lunch every day there, then at the dentist in the afternoon. Oh, I forgot to dip it in my soup, but it's so cold, it's curdled. I don't know about you guys, but I've worked up an appetite working on this deck all day. Hey, I got a great idea. It's on me. Let's all go to Panera. Then everybody gangs up and beats the hell out of me. What? What are you? Sodas at Panera, hot teas and smoothies. I'm not surprised. Super Bowl predictions, Texans and Eagles for me. Although the Seahawks might have something to say about that. But I'm going to stick with Texans and Eagles. The Atlanta Bread Company. I don't remember the Atlanta Bread Company. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend eating at Panera. It's been fun. That's been fun. All right. Good stuff, everybody. That was fun. All right. Thanks to David Smith and Andy Bitter. So tomorrow, Coach Elmo, Mike Ashley with Open Mike, and Jen the Gamecock Girl. Enjoy. Kerry's got Bills and Seahawks. Okay. Hey, you know what? It's the NFL playoffs, Kerry. There's crazy things happen all the time. That would not surprise me either. Really wouldn't. Carolina would surprise me. My Broncos would really surprise me. I know they're the number 1 seed, but really, if you know football and you watch the NFL, they're not. Thanks, everybody. This was fun. Fun last 40 minutes here. Thanks, everybody in chat. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. We'll wrap up the week tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. We will see you then. Again, Coach Elmo, Mike, and Jen. Be good, y'all. We'll